I look back with such fondness of retail, but I remember when I was there, it was shit because there was like stock takes, the long hours, people just be miserable bastards because you didn't have like the right painting, or they'll come in and you didn't sell fucking Xboxes. You're like, piss off! It says Games Workshop, not game. Go away.
Well, this is it. I
Get
think,
it out, Peach.
See, we are the therapists.
Yeah, we are the therapists. We say this every time.
We always
really
get guests on and they all just dump. They all like, fuck everything.
Trauma dump.
Welcome to the In the Tank podcast. Get ready for an hour of hot 40k goodness coming in your ears. You're in the tank now, baby.
We're live.
We are indeed live. Welcome everybody to In the Tank Peachy Spash.
Yeah.
Hi.
Oh,
Hi, Peachy.
Spash.
hello, Peachy. How you doing, my man? How you doing?
I'm great. I've slept well and I'm ready for action.
I tell you what.
I shaved for you and everything.
I didn't, so we're good. We're just like...
We were saying before the podcast that this is like the evolution of hair. We got Peachy, bold, me, middle, and Russ just bush.
Just bush.
You're all bush.
All the bush.
There you go, see. Oh, wow.
Well, for those of you who somehow have been asleep for the last 20 years, this is Peachy of Peachy Tips. And he's also in the Jugs podcast with Louise and Rob. So go check him out there if you haven't already somehow been listening to those channels or watching those channels. But yeah, thank you for coming on and joining us. It's an honor to have you here, genuinely.
I love chatting, and I get stuck in this little cabin for days and days without seeing any humans at all, apart from like my alien child and my little wife.
Yes, indeed.
You're a family man.
Jugs law there.
Indeed.
But yeah, other than that, I don't get to see anyone, so it's nice to reach out and chat to people. And you guys reached out.
Well, we pulled you away from editing to doing yet more video work.
I mean, to be fair, I think you're doing me a favour because it's like I've been on that screen for like 4 or 5 days now, and it's just like intense. So a bit of a break.
Self-care as a self-employed person is the worst, right? If we can just like distract you for like an hour, then that's great. Then we're doing a service to you.
Exactly.
There you go.
Well, it was like last night. My son popped in, and I was doing some editing, and it was just like because he's playing Minecraft, he was asking me something about Minecraft. Oh, telling me we don't have conversations. He just talks at me about Minecraft. And I was like, and he mentioned something like something to do with like a noise that sounded like a spaceship, and I was like, oh, I've not done a noise for the shuttle when it lands. Thank you, Charlie. You've really helped pull me away from that.
You should nick it off Minecraft. And get copyright struck.
Yeah. Oh no, hope not.
So we always begin our pod every time, Peachy, with the classic GW. So what are you working on? What are you working on?
What are you working on?
With the stats. We got the stats going on. You know because you know we've been there. We've been there. I know you did. I'm fully aware of this. Can you do the stats, Peachy? Can you do it? What are you working on?
So what are you working on at the moment then?
Oh, that was fucking crisp. That was. I almost told him.
He went straight there. It was like Vietnam flashbacks. He's there. He's
I was picking the fucking combat patrol up off the shelf.
You may need some snips and some glue there, lad.
You haven't played before? Do you want an intro game? Sunday beginners, just come over here. I'll take you to our Sunday beginners, but we'll get you signed in.
I didn't need a box of intercessors, but now I do. Funny that.
Got black spray. I got black spray.
Don't, it's freaking me out. It's actually freaking me out. So what are you working on, Sir Peach? What are you working on?
Oh, so lots of random things. So I've got like obviously I've detracted a little bit away from like GW related. Sorry, I've gone into romance cam again.
Sorry, it's quite steamy.
So I am doing like workshop stuff. I've got like a load of Warcry warband still to work through and stuff. But I've got like there's a game called Rangers of Shadow Deep, so I'm doing some Rangers for that.
Yeah.
There's a game I discovered before Christmas called 0200 Hours. So it's like SAS, sort of like sneaking around gym and facilities and knifing gyms in the dark and blowing up, I don't know, facilities. So I'm painting a bunch of stuff for that. And obviously I've been watching the Rogue Heroes TV show. I don't know if you've seen that, the SAS Rogue Heroes.
That's good.
So they've moved into Europe, so I'm kind of like inspired by that. And then just loads and loads of alien baddies and human resistance for my current battle report is what I've been working on.
Nice.
Amazing. You are famous as a sort of hobbyist of having painted every mini that's ever existed.
Fair enough.
So, you must be in a Guinness World Record, right? You got to be.
I mean, I'm sure there's other people out there that have probably painted more. I tell you what, I've not painted. I've not painted no Numidian spearmen or Abyssinian tribesmen. So I can't claim it all. Slacker. I need to work on that. Yeah, you're right. That's just poor excuses.
Good stuff. Russ, what have you been working on?
Well, mate,
Briefly.
Yes. I am trudging through my Dark Angels for the event coming up, so I'm just doing my Bastardus Lad at the moment.
I got the feeling you like Dark Angels. I don't know what it is. It's just something
it's weird, isn't it?
I mean, it's funny that. Apart from the lion mane effect going on here.
Is it that annoyingly just out of shot Dark Angels symbol that I've been telling him to move down for the last 6 months?
The thing is, the more you want me to do it, the more likely I am of not doing it.
It's so annoying.
So it's all good.
Triggers me every week.
Peach, just to let you know, we are the work wives, so we do have quite a feisty relationship.
Yeah, we're quite bitter with each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been working on yet more Gene Stealer cults in a surprise that will shock nobody. Exactly.
Got the right look.
I'm starting to grow one of those actually, which is a bit
an extra arm.
Yeah, exactly. Wife loves it though. Anyway, so moving on to the next topic. I'm a notorious lover of skirmish war games, right? Russ is not so not so into them, right? But I absolutely love Warcry. When I first played it like a few years ago, it blew me away because it was so quick and punchy and fast paced, and you didn't need many models. And as somebody who's a notoriously slow painter, I was like, this is like the perfect game for me because I can actually get a few different little Warcry teams or war bands together. So what is your favorite skirmish miniature game that you've ever played, do you think?
I'm really curious about this.
Yeah. You see, I've played a lot in the last year now, and it's a tough one. I would say at an entry level, I'd say Warcry is up there, right? And it's up there because Games Workshop's quite in the peripherals of a lot of people. So there's more I guess younger people getting into the hobby. So it's more well known, I guess that's what I'm looking for. So for me, I think Warcry is so easy to get into. You could learn, I mean, I'm an idiot when it comes to learning rules, and I learned the rules within the first 2 phases of the first turn. Yeah. And I was like, this is really good. So you could just chill out and then just joy and play and just like hit stuff and not worry about having to check rules and stuff like that. So I think Warcry will always be up there. Lord of the Rings is a good, I mean, it's kind of like slightly larger than Skirmish sometimes. You can
somewhere
make
in
it
between,
bigger.
Right?
Yeah, but it can be really simple, but you can also not overcomplicate, but you can add more depth to it, which then also is quite cool. If you want to shoot that guy miles away, you got to roll to see if you get past the wall, then past the tree, then past the orc, then past the orc, then past the rider, then past the orc, then past the tree. I got him! Yay! Awesome. Which adds a little bit of fun and hilarity when it doesn't work or when it does work.
And then somewhere Sean Bean takes a chest shot and he's like, oh fuck, not again.
Yeah, let's take the little ones.
But I guess more recently, like Frostgrave, Silver, the Joe games. So the thing that Joe does, which I really like, is he has a really simple rule system that focuses on fun and doesn't let the rules get in the way. And then you obviously can amend the rules if you really needed to. You only need 2 D20s, which sometimes can be quite hard to get hold of. D6s are a bit more, I guess, easy to get hold of. But yeah, those game systems are quite quick and really good entry levels, certainly like Silver Bayonets for people that, because I've discovered this quite recently after talking about it a lot. Loads of people are like, no, I was never interested in Napoleonics until I saw your battle report. And now I want to do every single warband possible. I'm like, cool, because it's a fun game, because it's horror. You're basically sharp stabbing vampires and undead. Yeah. So you can do what you want. You don't have to care about knowing uniforms. And I think Joe, I remember when chatting to him, he was like, I don't know anything about Napoleonic uniforms. I'm just going to paint what I want. I was like, good, because that's the way it should be. Yeah. But yeah, I think they're really fun entry level games. But good. That's an entry level. I'm being greedy. I'm picking 2.
Okay, go on.
I know. So recently with this battle report, I've been playing 5 parsecs from home, and there's a fantasy one called 5 Leagues on the Borderlands. And if you want fun games, like cooperative ones that feel like role-playing games but are miniatures games that are skirmish games, and you need 6 figures and then a handful of baddies, the rules are really, I mean, I literally didn't know the rules that much until started to do the power report, and then just like had the rules in front of me. I was like, this is such an easy, fun game to get into.
Nice.
But it's like the books are quite chunky because there's loads of like background, and it's kind of got elements of Warcry meets the Joe game meets Necromunda. So it's like all my favorite things combined into one game system. So from a fun game system, from a really good entry level fun beer and pretzels kind of game, Warcry definitely, and the Joe games. I picked 3. Sorry, I've been really
that's perfect.
To be fair, I'd call this a Peachy specialization. So like you're totally cool. You get like the other class options on your choice. It's fine. You're cool.
Yeah.
What about you guys? How about you, Ed? Because I know that
I
you
love
like
Warcry.
one in
I mean,
particular.
I agree with what Peachy said on the simplicity of it. Because I've played Kill Team. Like I used to play a lot of Kill Team with its previous editions.
Yes,
and it was really good. And obviously now the new edition's great as well. I have played that as well, but it is quite complicated still. And there's a lot of like wanking around with all the little tokens and turning them upside down, and it takes longer than you'd think it would. Like you look at that game, and you think, oh, I'll take like half an hour, but it takes like an hour and a half or something to play a game, or at least an hour. Whereas with Warcry, you can get a game done in like 20 minutes, half an hour sometimes.
We did a campaign in the office over lunch-times, and we've got loads of games
right?
in. Yeah,
nice.
It's amazing.
So that's what I love about it. And like, it is so simple. So like my brother-in-law is Romanian, and there's a little bit of a language barrier there. He does speak English, but it's not great. And I taught him Warcry in literally one game, exactly like you were saying. And he fucking loved it. He never played any war games before in his entire life. And he was over for the weekend, and we played loads of Warcry. He got really into it. So it's like, you can literally pick people up on it and just have fun. It's almost like a board game at that point. I agree. I've not actually played Frostgrave yet, but I really want to give it a go.
Yeah, it's got a bit more depth to it than Warcry for sure. But I don't think nothing in my mind for like getting really into a game really quickly. Warcry is always going to be.
I like the sort of, like how they've got that blood dice sort of corn mechanic, with the crits and the doubles and the quads. I really like that mechanic. It adds a bit of interesting variety to all the factions. So
I guess you kind of get that with Frostgrave and Stargrave as well, because if you get like natural 20s and natural 1s, then it's like, oh no, you've really screwed up now. Which I kind of like, because that's the only thing with Warcry is you get the crits, but you never get like the real big fumble. Because I used to like that in Necromunda when you used to like do combat, you used to fumble. You're like, no.
It's a bit more like D&D that, where
makes it
like,
narrative.
and that's
it does make it narrative.
Probably where the D20s come from. Like, because I've played a lot of D&D in the past, and it's so much fun when people just roll a natural 1 and just completely fuck it up. Like they're trying to sneak in through a window, and it's like, and you're just like, you've alerted the whole house, and they're like, balls. So now we're gonna have to really improvise. What about you, Russ?
Well, I have a complicated relationship with skirmish games because, as Ed said, in the modern era, I'm not particularly into them, although I think that will be a matter of time, quite frankly, with something coming on the old horizon. But I was a Gorka Morka Mordheim lad back in the day. I did love both of those. However, they were very deep for where I was at the time, where I don't think I truly anticipated like how vast those systems were, and like my little brain was just overwhelmed by like how complicated those rule sets were, right? Especially like Gorka Morka being like based on the old Necromunda engine and the old second ed kind of engine. I think kind of just blew my little 10-year-old brain, quite frankly. But being a late 90s, early 2000 kid, the old Lord of the Rings skirmish game was so good, man. With the first movie coming out and like the first 3 big boxes for like Fellowship, Two Towers, Return of the King. I played a shitload of that, and I loved it. And man, like it was great fun. Great fun.
I think there was a time when I probably painted every box that came out. So I'd like every version of like the Fellowship model possible, and I don't think there was a model in the range that I didn't actually own for a time. I don't know where
I told you painted everything. You're proving my point. But
I loved it. I do remember that very first day, because that's why I was recruited, was because Lord of the Rings was coming out.
Imagine that got so many people through the door back then.
But my first day was like, there was like some men of Numenor, there was some elves, and there was some goblins, and I was like, how do these work? How does the rules work then? Because we're going to be doing intro games today, and they're like,
whatever.
You'd have to just
Freeball
have to work it out. I was like,
Wing it.
what? You're not going to tell me? Like, no, you have to work it out. I was like,
To be fair,
yeah.
Lord of the
Trial by
Rings was
fire.
really easy to cut. Like the combat system was flowed so well, and it just was really slick. Actually,
Yeah.
to the point where Ed, I think you would really enjoy the game in general. I think you would love it.
Had a very brief go very early on because actually, what some of the earliest models that I ever painted were from Lord of the Rings. I've got an old metal cave troll, like the one from the movie, and a load of little goblins that are like the tiniest models ever.
So
so I do have a load of that, but I've never properly got into it. I will definitely be up for giving it a go because it looks really cool.
I was going to say, I found one thing that was really fun. Me and Duncan, because we worked in the same store for a long time, we were big fans of Rome Total War and medieval Total War. So we used to play a lot of Total War before Warhammer Total War came out, which is amazing. But we used to like have bigger blocks of like infantry for Lord of the Rings because once you get into combat, you have this nice little block of infantry. Gets into combat, then it becomes like a really confused melee, and you're like trying to keep your standard like in the middle and protect the standard and stuff like that. So we used to have a lot of fun like doing really not complex, but it was like there was a bit of time invested in doing the sort of like skirmishes and melees and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they did a system for the big battles, right? With like,
War
moving
the Ring
things, because then it did get too convoluted for that.
Workshop was probably trying to push you to sell the big blocks.
There you go.
40 mans.
but seriously, I am so invested in Trench Crusade now. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, let's bring it on. Let's rejuvenate the skirmish game for the new era, right? And like, let's get that going.
It's really cool. And like, you don't need much in your warbands for that, and you can just have a bit of fun just converting if you didn't want to get the STLs or the actual official prints and stuff. So so many cool, wild creatures and creations, to be honest. I was just like, that's an interesting choice for a nun with like no armor at all. But blood, covered in blood. That'll hide it.
Oh, Blanchy, John Blanche.
Here, get some paint. Nice.
Indeed. So we'll talk about that in a second. What's next on the agenda, Ed? Because you're kind of master of topics today.
I just stole the first one off of you. You can carry on if you want. Normally Russ's thing. I just was like, yike.
Like, wow, role reversal. It's so cool. It's so cool.
No, you carry on.
So we should probably do the John Blanche paint thing because that was a good wet blend. So what are sorry, we have a wet blend thing, Peach, where we wet blend our topics together, and if they don't quite work, it's what we call a harsh blend.
I thought it would be a dry blend. I was like,
I would call it that from now on. Last week, he just actually threw me under the bus because he normally does the blending and he's really good at it normally. And I was talking and I sort of was going that way towards the next topic, and he was like, "Are you going to do it then? Are you going to do it?" And I was like, "Well, not now you've brought me up on it." Like,
speaking of, oh my god, sorry, we need to do call to actions. I've completely forgot.
Oh yeah.
Like, normally we time this in the thing of how long it's it's so Wayne's World, Peach. It's so terrible. And it's the mini game of Ed like guessing when I will actually get this in. Please, everybody, like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, please do.
Nice. We got a little boost of people on our old Discord. Get on the old Discord. Thank you for our latest Patreons, as always. Like, thank you, everybody.
Cheers, guys.
And obviously, subscribe to the various Peachy projects.
Yeah.
Hashtag Peachy projects. Not that you
Come on.
probably already
Make all this
haven't
painting
been.
worthwhile.
Exactly. But all good, yes. So, favourite paints currently on our stack, then, guys, because I know that Peachy, you've got some connections, and you're currently doing some army painting.
Yeah, so
awesome, mate.
I was ingrained in the Citadel paint system for a long, long time. Whether that was a hobbyist, a staff member, and then working in the army painting team because you had to use the products, which made sense because you're selling and talking about the models, so you should really use the paints and show people how to use those paints to make the customer experience a lot more rounded and exciting and helpful. And then I left and I discovered new paints and went, oh, these are a bit good. Because then you suddenly realise that actually Games Workshop, which is true, it's a miniatures company, not a paint company, whereas people like AK Vallejo, what else got, Monument Hobbies, Army Painter, they're all dedicated to that craft as opposed to miniatures. So it was really interesting seeing like different paints and how they worked. And, you know, I got really obsessed by Pro Acryl's bold titanium white for a long time. It's like, no matter how I thin this down, it still covers over black with one coat.
Yeah.
I'll thin it down some more. It still covers over black in one coat. I don't get it. It's now water.
That's sorcery. That's sorcery. That's not on.
I never got it, but that was really interesting. Like AK paint, super matte. And that's when I started to realize how shiny workshop paints were, because I guess I got used to it, like blind to like the model style.
They're quite
the
satiny, aren't they?
They are very. And then I was looking at my cabinet because I've got a lot of stuff in my cabinet. And I was like looking at them going, why are they so shiny? So I started to use a lot more matte varnish on like cloth. And then I started using more the AK stuff for cloth and more the Citadel stuff for like lacquered armor. But then Army Painter approached me and were like, would you be interested in trying our new Fanatic stuff? I was like, what's that? Because I used some of their old stuff and it was gash. And it was like...
it was pretty bad.
Yeah,
it was pretty bad.
I talked
What an accolade. Dog shit.
So, your old paints, they were gash. I mean, sort it out.
They were.
Is that their slogan? We're not gash anymore.
Yeah. But,
Fanatic, not gash.
Not gash. But Adam Abramovich, he's my contact, and he's a really nice guy, and he kind of knows that. And so he was like, would you ever consider using the new stuff? Because we think they're really good. We're really proud of them. I was like, no, I'll give it a go. Because I used some of the old stuff and I was like, I wasn't really taken by it. I'm really sorry. Like sometimes your sprays can be a bit hit and miss and those were not great. Your speed paints are fine. I like your speed paints. The 2.0 ones. I never tried the original ones, so I have no opinion on whether they're good or bad. But yeah, he sent me a bunch of the Fanatic paints and it was kind of like the happy ground between the AK matte and the Citadel sort of color system, because you had this lovely spectrum of colors. I know people say triads, which is 3, so whatever 6 is, because you get like dark to light, and it's just really nice. And a few people I've been doing like some one-to-ones going, but if you mix that black with that gray, it kind of makes the middle. I was like, it totally does, and that's the point. If you didn't want to buy all of them, you can make those colors by mixing.
Mixing your colors, like what?
Yeah,
what
exactly.
20th century concept is this?
Madness.
Mad.
But which I really like, because you can get that spectrum by mixing. But if you're like me and you paint armies and you want that consistency, then you just get the pot. Because if you're going to be mixing loads, as opposed to having like a bit of variety, and the thing that really was a bit of a bugbear for me, there's 2 colours that are bugbears for me at the moment, was when I'm doing like my painting, there's like their gunmetal isn't gunmetal enough, because it should be like dark, almost black metallic, and there's no really dark grey. It's like deep grey, which is all right. It's kind of like Mechanica standard grey, but you need something that's a bit darker than that, like Esching grey or something. And I was like, there's no dark grey. And then with the John Blanche set, they've got heavy metal, which is like black, and then whatever I think it's called Ironclad grey. God, I'm getting better with the names nowadays.
This is the thing, right? You were talking about this on Jugs the other day, and I completely agree with you. Like this thing with Games Workshop paints with all their stupid fucking names. You've got like Ogre Balls Brown, and then it puts you off mixing paints, because you don't know what the fuck you're doing as a starting out hobbyist. You're like, okay, I'll mix a bit of pink into this, and now it's shaved Ogre Balls.
Some pink in my Ogre Balls.
Like, what the fuck is Troll Spunk? Like,
what colour is it? Light blue? What the fuck? Yeah, it's like. Honestly, it is a weird one, because I do think as a beginner hobbyist, if you just had the fucking names like light grey and dark grey, you can look at that and go, oh, I'll quite easily mix a mid grey from these two.
Although you say that, the Fanatic paints, I've been using those a little bit recently as well, because I think they're fucking fab. They do have some quickness with their naming convention though, because
they do, but they also have the option with the black greys. Deep greens.
My favourite is one that's called Mouldy Wine, which what a fine vintage. I don't even know if wine moulds, for fuck's sake.
They're also quite close to the bone with some colours as well, because they're like, there's a couple of Citadel ones, I can't remember off the top of my head, but they've got like Castle Grey instead of Grey Castle instead of Castle Grey Skull. So it's like Grey Skull Castle.
Oh, wow. I like that.
Nice. But there's a couple where they sail quite close to the
mark,
to the wind. Is that the mark?
We'll take wind.
I mean, you need the wind to sail, Peach. What are you on about?
Just as a very quick aside, and then I'll ask Ed, because I'm curious what paints you're using at the moment, Ed, as well. Is the John Blanche set good? Is it good?
Yes. Yeah. I think it complements. So there's lots of new colours. So one of the things I've heard a lot, and I don't really have an opinion or I care about it. There's a lot of high-end painters that are like, oh, the greens aren't very green and good, and the reds are very pinky and not very good. I'm like, I've been using them and I'm fine with them. But there's a red called Vermilion Fury or something like that, which is just like Evil Sun Scarlet. It's amazing. But there's a load of extra colours which add an extra darkness to those spectrums. So instead of being a 6 now, you're getting a 7th colour. Okay. So like the deep greens, you get like a darker green. Some of the blues you get a darker blue, so you can go a bit darker because some of them weren't dark enough for me as well. But some new sort of shades, some new technical paints, more pigment in them, and they all look really dark and grim, and it's perfect because that's what the soul does, grim dark paint set. So
I was just saying that you're the ultimate pusher because that was it then. I was like, pre-order. I was
on the verge. Did pre-order them,
I was on the verge and I was like, oh fuck, no, I need them now.
You reminded me. I'm gonna throw them into the hallway because I need to send them to Louise so she can have a look at them.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, bless.
Thank you for reminding me.
The reminder, I'll step on them and then I'll remember to pick them up.
That's such an ADHD way to remind yourself. I do that as well. I just put it in my own way. I'll hang it on the door handle. That's a classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you then, Ed? What paints are you fucking around with?
Well, the thing is, like, I've come from Games Workshop. You know, I've got all of their, not all of their range. Fucking hell, I've got a good load of like old Games Workshop paints. But I've recently really got into contrast just because I find them so easy for me to paint with for some reason. And I think there are other alternatives out there that I'd like to try because I think the Army Painter speed paints are basically the same thing, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much the same sort of thing.
They feel a bit different. That's the weird thing about them. They do feel different, but they have similar results. And I think there's a couple more extra colours in there as well. So some more red, some more blue.
Their viscosity is a bit different.
That's the word. Thanks.
There you go. And they sometimes, thank you. And they sometimes, oh, thank you, Pete. That's great. And they sometimes, and they sometimes dry a little bit weird though. They have that,
are they thicker or thinner?
Yeah. They're more matter, I think.
Yeah. They're kind of weird to move around. They're a bit more weird to like actually move around your model.
More troll spunky than milky then.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know what that looks like, but sure.
It's in the paint range.
So of course it is.
It must be. But no, I like the contrast paints. I also, this is not technically a paint in traditional sense, but I fucking love pigment powders. If you've seen any of my Gene Stealer Cult stuff that I've been doing recently, I'm just like with the pigment powder. They're just so cool. Like, obviously you've got to apply it in a natural way. It's a little bit tricky, but I do the what I like to call the rust and dust, where basically I hit the models with dirty down rust in various places, and then I sort of dust them up with that on top of it, and it creates such natural rust. Like, it's really cool. So that's kind of what I've been doing a lot of lately, and I'm really into it.
See, I tried pigment powders and I kind of got excited by them because I was doing like some stuff for like, I think it was like when we were doing an Imperial Guard army years ago for workshop because they had the Forge World pigment powders. So I was like, ooh, let's give them a go. Let's give them a whirl. And I was like, yeah, these are great. And they're like, we've taken them off sale. Bastards! I got into that and now I can't use them in the paint guides because you're taking them off sale.
It's like those old glaze paints that they used to do and stuff like that, right? The old
I love those
famous.
Glaze paints.
Exactly! Bring them back, please!
I don't know why. I mean, they're just great colours. I mean, they're just really
I use
vibrant.
the Vallejo pigments and they're great. I really enjoy them.
Yeah, they are good, those Vallejo ones.
Yeah.
They're fucking fab.
You got to be a little bit careful with them because you don't want to varnish them after the fact, or and also they say you can like just drip things like airbrush thinner onto them to sort of set them, but it just ruins the effect. It doesn't work quite the same. You lose the dryness of it. The color stays, but I like the dry look of it because I'm kind of creating that Mars dust, and I want it to look
makes sense.
dusty. So, but no, they're good. I'm probably a little bit more vanilla than you guys in my paint ranges because I don't buy every fucking paint range Peach pushes on me. Like you, Russ.
Now.
He uses me as an enabler, by the way, Peach. So what he'll do is he'll watch Jugs or something, and he'll go, "Oh, Peach has got like all this new stuff. It's really cool, apparently." And I'll go, "Oh yeah, that sounds good." And he goes, "Do you think I should get it, Ed?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why not, Russ?"
I'm going to see how far I can push this on the next episode.
Now you're realising your power, Peach. It's like, oh my god.
Their sales are just like, wow.
I must confess, I'm currently going on a bit of a painting quest myself because I am getting to the low bit of my old Agrax Earthshade Formula G-Dub paint, and I'm like, oh no, what do I do? Because the new Agrax is fucking awful. I'm sorry. I hate
They've all
it.
changed. I don't like them. No.
I hate it. I love that like discoloration that you get and like the sort of like, especially for like nurgly things and gross things and age things and stuff. So I'm currently trying to find a replacement Agrax for like my current Agrax because it's one of my favourite paints. Oh, Peach, bring it on. Bring it on, Peach. Tell me what to buy, Peach.
Save it.
It's going to be Army Painter, but it's not because you get strong tone and dark tone. I forget which one's supposed to be like the non-oil and Agrax equivalent. but they got some skin tone shades. One's called dark skin tone shade, and one's called strong skin tone shade. And then in the John Blanche one, there's one called warm. And I think it's the dark one that's more akin to the old Agrax.
Sold.
If memory serves from visuals in my brain.
I have to confess, I'm getting desperate because I'm even going down the old enamel route and everything. Like I'm going down the old AK enamels and stuff, and I'm just nothing is hitting it. Nothing is quite hitting it. And I'm starting to get a little bit. I'm starting to get a little bit like twitchy, where I'm like, I'm running out. I've got like a tiny thimble of old Agrax, and I'm like, am I going to have to go down the old?
How much can you thin that?
Exactly. I'm going to go down the black market. Do you know what I mean? Like some dude with a trench coat being like, you want some old oil?
You drive up into a car park and like pass a brown bag between the vehicles.
Yeah.
You want that Agrax Earthshade? How about some old Nuln oil?
So if any of our listeners have any old Agrax, please fucking send them my way, please, because I'm getting a bit desperate.
Depends if they're the ones that have got the horrible sort of biological ingredient that's in it that makes it. That was Devlin Mud. That was Devlin Mud. So
okay, fine. Because
that smelled like.
I hadn't heard any horror stories in regards to Agrax.
I remember once basing a load of my Drakari in like Devlin Mud, and it stunk out the army painting room for like 6 months.
Did it?
You could just like the smell just cling to the ceiling.
Growing stuff.
yeah. I was just like, Peach, it still stinks of Devlin Mud. I was like, I'm sorry. There was a lot of models to base. I didn't realise it would be that bad.
Wow, that's funny. That is funny.
So it died in the pot, I think.
It's like, you don't use me. It's like an actual nurgling living in there. It's quite funny.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it walked off. I definitely walked off.
Indeed.
Mind of its own.
Right. Next topic then, lads.
So I'm
trying to find this dry blend. Very dry blend. Nothing together with that. So, right. We're going to go for something quite sentimental now, lads. If that's okay. So, what model or mini in your entire collection means the most to you, and what is the story behind that mini?
So
can be potentially two if you're struggling.
I've got a lot, and they all have different reasons, but I think I'm gonna go with Marathi for a couple of reasons. Because
Marathi, new Marathi,
new plastic Marathi.
Okay,
and I think there's a couple of reasons. It was like my first sort of big project when I worked in Warhammer TV doing for video, and the one I did here was like my test model. So I in fact, I've ended up doing 3 Marathis of like the big snaky wing lady and then the little high priestess, because I did a test model for the video, then I did the actual version for the video. Annoyingly, the test model came out better, and then I did my own version for myself, which is in my cabinet. But I just remember each time doing it, I just really enjoyed the process more, because I was like learning, like painting. Well, I've done lots of large scale figures, but it was getting me into that sort of mindset of making the journey more fun and easy for the customer. So like, how do I get that effect on Marathi's wings? Because it's like grey with red in it. How have Heavy Metal done that? How do I do that with the Citadel colour system? Oh, you know what? I'm just going to get red, thin it down and wipe it off with my thumb. Oh, that worked. I'm going to carry on doing that. So that's when my brain started to go like, can I find cooler, different ways of trying to get cool effects with minimal effort but maximum effect to make the customer journey a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable without having to like base coat, shade, highlight, base coat, shade, highlight. I mean, I still do that, but I like cutting corners, that kind of like
great.
Lazy, smart way of
if
like
it works,
approaching painting.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think Marathi did that. I was painting like the test model late at night whilst nursing a 2-3 month old Charlie. So that was like, he's finished crying. I'll carry on doing like the rest of the skirt now and stuff like that. Because usually when you like doing your tests, you like try different colors, you write your notes, and then it all comes to like a big thing when you get around to doing the video. So there's loads of just fun memories of that model itself, just for multiple different things. But yeah, first big video, first sort of like tweaking my brain to go, let's make painting more fun and accessible. And then of course, I had a small child at that time, didn't I?
Small alien, yeah.
See, we're both small alien.
Small
So
alien.
We're both hobby dads, so we could totally appreciate that, like the kind of like breath moment of like, fuck, I've got like 5 minutes. Let's go.
That 2 to 3 month old period is amazing, by the way, because you just stick them behind you in the crib. They're out cold for hours. You're just painting away, and you're like, "This is great." And then they get a bit older, and you're like, "This is shit. I can't do any more hobby."
Don't touch the stuff. Don't touch it.
I mean, like regular mornings now, Charlie will come into my bedroom, and it'll be like 6:30, and he'll be like, "Daddy, I just had a thought about Minecraft. If I do this," I was like, "Dude, it's 6:30 in the morning. I don't care. Go to sleep." I obviously say it a bit nicer than that.
Yeah.
No, of course.
And I can't be asked to talk. I'm like, dude, it's like 6:30. But yeah, it's a bit different now. But yeah, putting them down, let them do the thing, let them poop. Yeah. Sort that out, and then just carry on watching X-Files or whatever. I mean, obviously, I probably should have done like some cleaning around the house, but if I hoovered, it would have woke the child up. So
Look, man, self-protection's the way forward. You got now.
What about you, Russ? Go on.
Oh, see, I'm going to be mega sentimental, boys. I'm so sorry. It's quite a sad one.
Is it gooey?
Quite a cute one. It's very gooey, very gooey. So, in my early, so part of my early days in the hobby, my grandmother was one of my most awesomest patrons of my hobby when I was younger.
Oh.
And bless her, she used to take me to get like White Dwarf magazines and Dungeon and Dragon magazines and mail order stuff from White Dwarf and stuff like that.
Classic.
She even used to play Hero Quest with me, bless her heart, and her name was Joan, and she was amazing.
Legend.
And I took a break from the hobby for an extended period of time, as we all do in my younger years when I was playing guitar on stage and living life in London and doing my thing. And then when I came back to the hobby, it unfortunately kind of coincided with her passing, which was really sad, really unfortunate. But as like a memory thing to her, I decided to get a mini commissioned by Den of Imagination, where I got a Lionel Johnson from 30k, because my oath to myself in a very Dark Angels-y sort of like morose way was like, when I get a lion model, I'll come back into the hobby. And like the 30k lion model come out, I was like, oh my God, it's so great. And I was like, I don't really feel like I'm at the point where I can paint this to a standard which I'll be happy with. So I had some inheritance money from my grandmother, and I thought, okay, I'll siphon just a little bit of that to get this commissioned by Den of Imagination. And I sent them an email saying, look, this is a really sentimental thing. Would you mind doing this? And they were like, oh my God, I got the most beautiful email back from them going like, oh my God, yeah, what do you want? And I was like, could you like freehand me a lion on the cave and stuff? And they were like, oh my God, yeah. So they like took all my details, and they even bumped me up a level for free, basically. And nice, it was dead cute. And I got it, and I was just so emotional getting it in the post. And it is like pride of place on my sort of like hobby. And I just love it. And just obviously just having that association of like my immediate, my lovely grandmother, and just how awesome she was helping me out in the hobby.
That's lovely.
So
I suppose it's nice because you look at that and you get all those memories flooding back and stuff.
Oh, like yeah. It's immediate nostalgia. It's just like this nostalgia bait. And also like my rebirth into the hobby in a modern day context as well, and I just love it. It's beautiful.
That's lovely.
No,
and
very
fuck
nice.
Painting
wholesome.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. See, and
Dark
really
Angels
checks like everywhere, like Dark Angels checks like all over it and stuff like that. So I couldn't be asked for that bullshit. So thank you, thank you, Den of Imagination.
Cheers to your grandma. You know,
thank you, mate. Thank you.
It's nice to have support when you're younger in the hobby, I think.
Oh, it's the best. You need a role model and stuff like that. And to be fair, my parents were awesome as well. But just because I spent a lot of time with my grandmother over summers and stuff like that, she was just so, there you go. Thank you.
Lovely.
Everybody. Nice. There you go. See, wholesome.
Well, mine's going to look really shit in comparison, but it's more... so when I first got into the hobby way back when I was like sort of 12, 13, I got into, I think it was Death Guard first. And I had like 10 sort of metal plague bearers and, you know, the old school squad of metal Death Guard Marines, like the Plague Marines. I love those skulls so much. But then I painted all of that, and it was a bit shit and a bit glossy, and it wasn't great. Yeah, exactly. But then after I sort of got my eye in, I thought I'm going to treat myself now, and I'm going to buy Typhus. And I bought that original Typhus model and the metal one, and I painted him up, and I just fell in love with that. I was like, it just is the coolest sculpt I think I'd ever seen at the time. And I was like, fuck, he looks cool. So I've still got it to this day upstairs in the attic in a little box. And it's still one of my favorite minis ever. And it's just got that sort of sentimental value. It's like the first real character project that I ever worked on and was like happy with the results of. And, you know, so yeah, I'm going to stop playing Death Guard.
I've actually seen that, Typhus. It's great.
Yeah.
For how old you were, lad, that was a bloody good paint.
All right.
Mate.
It's not bad.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well
Did you get
done.
any paint lessons in store? That's the question.
No, I didn't. No, I should have done.
Failed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
I should've done.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's kind of scary, Peach. You could have taught us how to
you could
paint.
Don't call him out, doxing
that
him, make him look.
No, I'm not doxing exactly, but but in terms of timeline, we could have.
Yeah.
Could have happened.
I mean, I did work in the Uxbridge store for a time, and it was only a short time. It was like a couple of weeks and stuff. I was there. I was doing training and stuff. So
There
You're just trying to call him fucking old. You could have been our dad, Peach. No, you're like the same age as us, I think.
I don't look
To be
my
fair,
age.
I look older than both of you, so whatever.
I think we're quite a similar age bracket, to be honest. But yeah.
Hides the greys.
Just shave it off and then you don't get to see it.
I'm in the Patrick Stewart era of when he looked like he was 30 for 50 years.
For ages.
Yeah, so and then he's suddenly like aged like
You'll be 100 when you hit
avocado in like short space. It's like fucking hell.
That's the way to do it, though.
That's the ultimate insult, isn't it? You're a fucking avocado, mate. You are.
That's good. I like that.
So, epic wargaming stories, lads.
Yeah.
So, what do you have? Any epic wargaming stories from in real life or whatever, from where things have gone incredibly good, incredibly bad, like characters going mad, surviving for ages, or something completely ridiculous happening? What we got, lads?
So it's not a Citadel game. It's made by someone who works for Games Workshop, Dave Andrews. He has an amazing gaming room. He invited us all over once, and he was like, "I'm running a Vietnam game. Are you guys interested in playing a Vietnam game?" We're like, "Yeah, sounds cool." Because Dave likes making his own rules. He looks at rule systems, but he like takes bits from one, takes bits from another, and makes his own. And he had this idea, right? You play as like a bunch of Marines or 7th Cavalry. You're in your helicopters, and you've got to find weapons caches. And what I really liked was, because it felt like you're playing a 40k game, but it was like Vietnam. And you start off with, like, I think it's 100 victory points. And then during the game, you lose them because you have to request like airstrikes or like a pickup. So if your Huey has to come down, pick you up and take you elsewhere on the board, that costs victory points. So at the end of the game, depending what threshold you're in, worked out how well, and obviously you regain those by finding the weapons caches. Where we struggled to find the weapons caches, we found a lot of Viet Cong ambushers and getting horribly mauled by them. But the worst bit was one of our group decided to land their Huey in a village, and he was adamant that there was a weapons cache in the village, so he decided to napalm the village. Unfortunately, I mean, he's watched too many movies. Unfortunately, what we didn't realise was circling around the village was a news team. and then this news team recorded such atrocities.
It's almost like that's what happened in real life.
And we're like, oh no. I know, unfortunately, the napalm killed one of the cameramen in the news team, so that didn't help either.
It was Stanley Kubrick just there.
So what was initially just like a game, just like searching, finding, seek and destroy, like, oh, let's get rid of that one, turned into this just hilarious. It felt like you were watching some kind of Carry On, but Vietnam, Carry On Vietnam in a really horrible way. But it was such a well done game, though. It was such a well done devised rule set that it was just like everything we did wrong, and we failed miserably. I think every single one of us should have been demoted, and probably worked in the kitchens after. But yeah, I remember that we did nothing but laugh. I mean, it's a toy soldier game, so the real history, we're trying not to like make light of that, but it was a fun game. I mean, you could have easily turned it into, like, I guess, Valkyries dropping Imperial Guardsmen, doing a similar thing with like orcs and stuff like that. But it was the setting made it, and then having a news crew just reporting all the bad shit that you did. I didn't know that was a thing at the time. We're like, oh no.
I love that great. Losing victory points mechanic.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, I think we were negative victory points.
Atrocities. You have the atrocities level now.
Doesn't look good, Peach.
It did not look good. But it wasn't me. I mean, I was being a good guy. I was like trying not to gun everybody down. I was just trying to find the weapons caches and take the weapons away.
Even Richard Nixon is like, oh, I don't know about this. I don't know why you went all northern though. Sorry, man. Oh, I don't know about this. Right, okay. So, how about you, buddy? What about you?
So this was
Epic
back in
moments?
9th edition, and I was playing my Necrons against my mate Paul, and we were having this game, and he was playing Death Guard, and we had this. So I don't know if you guys remember Code of Combat, the secondary for Necrons, but basically the way it worked was you had to get kills with your characters, and every time you got a kill with a character, you get like three victory points or whatever. My mates used to call it Code of Conduct. Which is quite funny, but yeah. So anyway, I had that as one of my secondaries, and I was like going out with the Silent King, and I was doing the typical thing of like weakening units with other stuff, and then trying to like finish them off with the king, and like I just kept failing to kill the last guy. Like I'd shoot a Menhir into a Plague Marine, and he'd be like somehow survive because I just failed to wound him or whatever. And there was like all these units in the middle of the board just gumming it up, like just with one guy left in it. And I had a big fight with Morty. We had like a big epic duel. And I got Morty down to like 2 wounds. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes, like, just let me kill something. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I've got an idea. So Morty hit me back. And I was like, auto-explode strat. And then I looked to my CP, 0 CP. And I was like, oh, no. So I was like, okay, here we go. I died. And I said, Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust. And I rolled a 6. And he was like, no. And it went off for 2d6 and just cleared the whole midboard. It killed everything.
And
It killed
you just
Morty,
like clock up all of your
5
secondaries,
different
like,
squads. It instantly maxed my secondary. And I was just like, yes. It was fucking glorious. It was just the most epic explosion I've ever seen in Warhammer.
That is amazing.
It was so good because I rolled the 6. Like, that made it even better. It was funny. I love that.
It was either going to go one of 2 ways, boss. It was either going to be the greatest thing ever
Disappointment,
or not, right?
yeah.
I always love it, and it's one of those things that sometimes you get an anticlimactic game, but I like the one where it's that last dice roll or something like that. It just really makes the game. I mean, sorry, Russ, I know I'm just
you carry on.
a second. We did a game on live, me and Duncan did, and it was his Imperial Knights versus my Drakari, just ramming raiders into knights is not helpful. There's not much you could do with knives and splinter rifles and stuff like that against Imperial Knights. It was a hard game, but we made it fun. And in the end, I think I made Archon with his husk blade. I was trying to capture this noble and turn him into a slave. Maybe a sex slave, probably. He looked like the sort.
Yeah.
I mean,
knowing you, Peach.
it works.
Strap him to the front of a raider and just prod him with razor blades or something like that. I'm sure he'll be fine about it. And then Duncan was trying to rescue him. And then I kind of like charged him with my husk blade and somehow did, because with knights when they blow up, you get like the massive reactor explosion.
Yes, you do.
That happened. That did take out a quadrant of the game board, including the objective for both of us. And that was all recorded on live. And both me and Duncan were just in tears. But I know like Rob and who was with him at the time? I think it might have been Eddie or something like that, doing like because Eddie's quite serious when it comes to the rules, and like Rob's just like, I'll just go with the flow. But they're like, what is going on in this game right now? And like me and Duncan just like, let's just having the best time. Having the best time. Stabbing knives into knights.
That is the best time though, isn't
blowing
it? Like,
things up. Yeah.
Like when stupid shit that shouldn't happen happens is the best.
Yeah.
It's peak 40k. Like,
Exactly.
Peak.
Yeah.
It is peak. Genuinely. What's yours, Russ? Go on.
So, lads, this is not a 40k story. This is a peak fantasy 6th ed story from the old Storm of Chaos campaign in stores back in when there were campaigns in stores back in today. And I remember there was this wicked match that was like a 5 versus 5 quite epic big store event that we had going on. And I was playing Bretonnians because they are the greatest fantasy faction. Fight me, don't give a fuck. They are the best. Oh, I love a bit of Nuln. No, but like I know where your head's going. In the mines of Nuln, working on some steam tanks or something. So either way, so of course,
yearn for the smelters.
Of course, I bet you do. So I was in an alliance with like a dwarf player, an empire player, and some goodies, basically fighting a load of chaos. And my best mate was a chaos player, and he had just recently bought a fucking hell cannon because those things were busted back then. And decided, because I was the old brave Bretonian charging in light brigade style, that my shit just got decimated. The only thing that I had left was a Lord of Bretonia on a Pegasus, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking eat that bloody hell cannon, and I was coming for it. And I had one turn. I had one turn to survive, and my best friend at the time shot my Lord on Pegasus and hit him, and I was like, oh, it's all over, baby blue, this is it, my charging days are numbered. And I had, of course, the blessing of the lady, and I had 2 6-up ward saves to make. I fucking made both. And my Bretonnian Lord then went over, just decimated this hell cannon, of course later then died, but it was so epic.
Just go over that bit.
It was so, whatever. So epic. But it was so cool that this like Bretonnian Lord had like survived all the way and then killed this hell cannon, which was like a mini monster as well. A demonically infused cannon. That the manager of the GW at the time, then because I had nothing on the board, just like slipped me a steam engine, like the because they had crazy rules back then, the old steam engines for Empire, right? Like, they were kind of mental because it was all steam tanks, because they all had like steam points that you had to spend and move them and stuff. And I knew the rules because I had White Dwarf to like explain them and stuff. And he was like, "I'll tell you what, Russ, because you've had a rough day today. Here's a steam tank. Have fun, mate." And I was just like smashing the flank of my mate's like Chaos Army with the steam tank, and it was just the best. It was so
surely
cool.
though. Surely, I mean, I'm gonna have to intercede here with like some rules.
Yeah, of course.
Surely you'd lose the blessing of the lady now because you got missile weapons. What's going on?
My whole army was Peach, my whole army was dead, bro. Like that was it. I was like first blood. But the fact that I could then like stay on the board with the siege tank, I was like, am I playing the wrong faction? Should I be playing Empire now?
Yes, you should. Yes.
Meanwhile, there's a Pegasus just crunching on hell cannon at the time.
I'm just like, what's this guy doing?
I can eat it.
But yeah, I just in my brain, in my head cannon, my Bretonnian Knight just like cut the
Cleaved
fucking hell cannon in
twain.
half as it came down. Love it.
Can I recall this is not me that did this, but I want to recall a quick story in retail. And it was a Lord of the Rings game. And one of my staff members, Neil, love you, Neil, if you're watching, Neil. He was describing, so we used to do big Saturday games. So you have like 20, 30 kids around the table and stuff like that. And there was a cave troll and it was surrounded by loads of, I think it was spearmen, Rohan spearmen.
Oh, have a cave troll.
Yeah. So when you surround a model, usually you get extra attacks and because they can't retreat, normally when you finish combat, you get pushed back, but you can't get pushed back. So everyone else has to get pushed back. So there's always a gap. And this cave troll somehow wins the combat. I don't know how he won the combat. And my friend Neil, my staff member Neil, turned around and was like, "Yes, what's happening right now is this cave troll's getting all these spears." And going, "Oh!" Like, Neil, stop! It's a shop full of kids. Stop! And he's there going on like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Why are you doing that?" And he was like,
I just had the naivety. The naivety is so funny.
I mean, it was genuine naivety. There was a parent sat down. She used to sit all the time, and she's a school teacher. She would sit down and do like some marking. She was looking at me, going, "What's he doing?" I was like, "I have no idea. So sorry."
I love it.
But yeah, they were the days of fun.
They sound like fun days.
Oh, bless. That's funny as fuck. Right.
It's weird because you. Sorry.
No.
I look back with such fondness of retail, but I remember when I was there, it was shit because there was like stock takes, the long hours, people just be miserable bastards because you didn't have like the right painting, or they'll come in and you didn't sell fucking Xboxes. You're like, piss off! It says Games Workshop, not game.
Well, this
Go
is
away.
Well, this is it. I think
Get it out, Peach.
See, we are the therapists.
Yeah, we are the therapists. We say this every time.
We always
really
get fun. They were
cathartic.
just dumb. They were just like, fuck everything.
Trauma dump.
But in a all serious note, I think people do forget that, where it's like, regardless of how we feel about like Games Workshop / Warhammer the company, right? Like there are millions of people that make up that company, and it's a fucking shit job, man. So like,
It is, absolutely.
treat your frontline workers with respect, because they do not deserve your ire. They're awesome people. They care just as much about the hobby as you, potentially, if not more. So don't be a fucking dick. Treat your local game shop people with respect. It's really important that.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I mean, I have some. I have so many fond memories and so many good times at Workshop, and the negative experience I've had are so few, but they were all in one short space of time near the very end of my career, which is obviously why I moved on. But I still remember that. I'm like, don't let that mar all that 20 years of fun, because it was 1 year. It was 1 year in my 21 years experience, and there was a reason why I was there for 20 years, and it was yes, I didn't get paid a lot. When I look back now, it was rubbish wages and stuff like that, but I was still enjoying myself, and it was the most money I ever got paid at that moment in time. But I now kind of look back with a bit more of a grown-up head going, yeah, I probably should have been paid more for that job, certainly like in charge of like 10 people's careers or whatever, but you know, it is what it is. Time's moved on.
It's led you to where you are today, right? Like
exactly.
I always say this in life. Like
agreed.
Everyone has shit jobs or shit times in their lives, or even shit relationships, and I think they always push you to where you end up. And you're clearly in a better place now, right? And you're doing so well for yourself, and it's really great to see it. You know. Genuinely, like huge support from the community.
We love you, Peach. We all love you.
For all of you guys.
I mean, it's long hours for sure, but I enjoy it. It doesn't feel like work,
right?
Yeah,
you love it.
Yeah. It's and I always feel bad when I don't get a video out in time. I like to try and, which is why I do these little workbench things now. So I feel inside a little like I've done something for the patrons at least this week, and then I'll try and get the video out as soon as I can once that's edited as well. But
because it's from your heart, right? And you're your own boss now, which is it has its own challenges. But like
tell me, I've got the tax man and the company's house going. You haven't filed your report yet. I'm like,
there's gonna be a lot of Warhammer budget on this one. Right.
I just had to do my old HMRC, and oh my god, it's the worst. It's the worst thing every year. But there we go.
I'm not looking forward to it.
You'll be fine.
But part of your bigger philosophical thing there, Peach, I completely agree with you. Like, don't let bad memories mar the awesome times that you had, and I think that's really important, mate. And I 100% stand behind you.
I mean, you know, still have a negative and fun laughs about some of the dumb stuff that goes off, but there was a reason I was there for such a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was a slave that didn't let me go.
Chained to a radiator overnight in the back of the games workshop.
Save me!
Keep painting. It's good
I painted so many like help comments on the bottom of bases, but no one looked.
Talking about bottom of your bases, rimming. Do you like rimming?
Oh god, rimming! I forgot about the rimming thing. Rimming. Controversial opinion. What colours to rim, please? What colour?
Brown.
No!
Brown.
No! Fuck brown rimmers! No!
Brown.
No, fuck brown rimmers.
There is a caveat.
Okay.
Though. I do like to rim black when it's board games or like display models because they're sexy.
Black is the way forward, always black.
What's your logic for brown rimming? Tell us your logic for brown rimming.
Strong
so
black
brown
rim.
rimming. So it came actually from working at Workshop and doing stuff for the publications and the board. So the brown rim is less of a visual jump when it comes to having a model on a base for all sorts of manner of photography. So if you have like a model that's got like a grey sort of like dusty sort of base, and then you've got a brown rim, but it's on like, let's say a green board, it's less distracting than a grey rim or a black rim. Yeah. Because you look at that, because you suddenly go, oh, that's different basing, but the brown seems to have like, nicely just lead it in a little bit, but also from an editing point of view.
This sounds like sorcery to me.
It's true. It's true. It's true. Oh my god, into romance camera. I must be telling the truth.
Keep going. I'm nearly there.
But yeah, from a post-production point of view, the graphic designers kind of liked brown rims as well, because then they could like, oh, we're doing an Age of Sigmar shot and it's on snow basis. The photographers are doing like a snowy scene. So we're just going to get these models that you've done, because then we can turn the brown rim and.
Is it like a tan brown or a dark brown? What are we talking?
No, it's Steel Legion drab. So it's like a drab brown. So it's not like a harsh brown. It's like a really
mid-tone brown.
It's kind of like it from if you were to look at it, it's like kind of green, kind of yellow, kind of brown. So it's kind of natural. And that's something that, I mean, I'm not going to argue with Daz Latham, who's the best painter in the world. It was his idea. So, you know, take it with him, mate.
Yeah.
That's my get out joke.
Daz, we need a fucking word.
Just lay that shit on the table. Fuck you, boys. Fucking don't judge my brown rimming. How dare you?
Just got that from the boss.
I've got friends. No, I'm sorry, Peach. That's fucking disgusting. Fuck brown rimming.
You're wrong.
And here's why. Nice.
And you, Daz.
You'll get on with Siege Studios. Siege Studios are black rimmers as well. So
good lads, as they fucking should be.
It frames a model.
It does frame a model. So that's good. I'm just glad we've got that opinion out of the back.
Yeah.
Final subject then, Peach, before we let you go. Bless you. But thank you so much for
thank you for having me. Thank you.
You're the best. Most heroic characters in 40k. Go for it.
There's only one.
There is only one.
There's only one.
There could be only one.
There could be only one, and it is Space Sharp, also known as Ibram Gaunt, Colonel Commissar Ibram Gaunt with his Space 95th rifles.
First and only.
First, do you want to live forever? Who fucking says that shit?
No, fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
He's the daddy, isn't he? He's the daddy. He's so cool.
There's been so many novels of like Imperial Guard characters that have tried to like be the next Gorn, and I know Cyphus Cain, however you want to say it, he's fun. He's lighthearted. I always say Baldric and Blackadder, but I always get shot down in the comments on YouTube going, no, it's meant to be Flashman. I was like, yeah, but Jurgen is fucking Baldric.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Peach. 100% agree with you.
It's Baldric and Blackadder. That's who it is. Stop saying it's Flashman. It's elements of him. For sure, but having Jurgen in there pulls it into the Blackadder kind of like vein for me. But yeah, I mean he's fun, but then there's just like so many other characters that are just a bit like they're all right, but nothing like
Gaunt is a legend.
I agree. What I love about Gaunt is he really holds his humanity on the sleeve, where like he could be one of those dick commissars, right? Like but like he loves his boys, like he loves his first and only, right? And he bend over backwards for them when he's not fucking princesses or whatever, but like he's doing all right. He's a good lad.
Don't want to get shot by a dick commissar. That sounds terrifying.
But yeah, and also the Tanith are the coolest. You love a bit of Gaunt as well, don't you, Ed?
I do, yeah. I've been reading. I read First and Only not long ago. I've been working my way through the books, and I'm really enjoying them. Like, I actually really like his relationship with the guy that hates him. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Ron.
I love that relationship. Like, I love how like
difficult.
Gaunt's just like. He just handles it so fucking well. Like, he's just great. Like, he's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to promote you.
Yeah. This guy's like, what the fuck? Like, he just knows how to win people over. He'd be like the best line manager ever. Like, he just, everyone would love him, you know? He's great.
He's got the training. He's got the old training, bless him.
He's just awesome.
Dan Abnett's a genius man, really, when it comes to like
Dab Abnett.
novel writing.
Yeah, we call him Dab.
Dab Abnett.
Don't be doing that hand gesture. You'll get shut down by CNN. Dodgy these days.
There you go, Steve. Where do we go from there?
I'll go next.
How about you, Ed? What about your choice?
So my fuck off. It's another absolute legend of the Imperium, Captain Saul Tarvitz. Now, if you're a Horus Heresy fan, like he is. I know that people generally hate on the Emperor's Children as a legion, but he is a absolute.
He's one of the two only cool Emperor's Children. He's one of the
Who's the other one? Who's the other one? I should know who the other one is.
Rylanor.
Oh, is that the Dreadnought? Yes.
Best Dreadnought ever.
Because he like at the end of like one of the books, just still wandering around, like just shooting and blowing stuff up. Yeah.
Doesn't he like blow himself up? And...
for Fulgrim, he like tries to KO Fulgrim later on. It's great.
Oh,
he's a bad
amazing.
But yeah, so Saul Tarvitz,
Saul's the man.
He basically saw that they were going to virus bomb Isstvan 3, and he was like, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go down there and warn everybody ahead of time, even though I'm basically putting my my life on the line here. So he goes down and basically warns all these guys who are about to get absolutely shafted. And I think like about 2/3 of them managed to get inside like airtight bunkers on the planet and stuff like that. And then he obviously helped them sort of do this amazing guerrilla warfare, which just completely slowed Horus down and fucked his plans up. They did obviously eventually all get wiped out apart from old Rylanor. Sadly, but he also, I think, managed to get the message through to a certain somebody who then took it back to Gilliman. So who would that be, Russ?
It was actually Rogel Dawn, actually, mate. But yes,
Rogel Dawn and Gilliman. Apparently. All right, fuck you. Yeah, you're such a lore nerd. Fuck.
So sorry, I didn't mean to be so bitchy there. I just like went into. I couldn't help myself. I was like, actually, to be fair, you've had a run of like picking on me, so it's fair.
Yeah,
it's like fair. You don't know, Peach, the drama in the background. So yes, so my man, one of the OG Knights Errant, old Nathaniel Garrow of the old Death Guard itself. What a lad to have that balls to say to Rogel Dawn, yeah, man, your bro's a heretical dick. And the Dawn to be like, how dare you? Right, like, just the tension of that scene of, like, being like, you're an idiot, Rogel. Like, listen to me, please. Like, was just, so epic. The Fight of the Eisenstein was such a great book as well.
Yeah, it's cool.
The first 5 Horus Heresy books are, like, essential reading. Like, absolutely essential. But Einstein was one of my favourites.
Yeah, I remember religiously reading the first, probably 5, 6, 7, something like that, and then after that, I kind of slowed down, jumped in every now and again, and I've kind of like just never got around to picking it back up again. But I still have those first, all the way up to Fulgrim, definitely.
Yeah.
Legion, I kind of enjoyed, but it took a while. It's the one Dan Abnett book I really struggled with, weirdly.
Ooh, interesting. It hops around a lot, like the narrative goes all over the place.
For someone who hops around a lot, I found it really hard, weirdly. It should be like my perfect reading, but no, apparently not. But yeah, no, they're good. Garrow and Tultavits also, I'd concur with those strong characters.
Yeah.
Do they also have the tattoos, don't they? The bromance tattoos of the eagle, that when they like high-five each other, they get the whole Imperial Eagle.
Is that because they're Terrans?
Yeah,
it's like that Arnie high five, when he goes,
Terra got you pushing too many pencils, Garrow.
Yes! You fucking hero.
Mate, this entire thing was worth it just for that like one thing there. Fucking hell, yeah, absolutely.
I love you, Peach. That's great.
I don't know if it's going to get me some stick on that, but I've included Rambo in my bat report, my V-Bat report.
Amazing.
And I can't voice Rambo, so all I do for his scenes when he's doing, he talks like, and then like I've got like a British SAS guy go, no one knows what the hell you're saying, oh boy. So every now and again it's just like he just makes noises.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
what he does, right?
Brilliant.
Just makes noises. But yeah, good choices. Strong.
Yeah,
Thank
I'd
you.
agree.
Thank you.
All three were
very
good.
much.
Really good.
Imagine those three. Just like now, 40k. I
Here's
feel
the real
brought back.
question. If you had to fight, fuck, and then
Well, I hear the Emperor's Children are quite good at the last one. So
if you had to choose one of those three to protect you and the other one hunts you down, who would you choose?
Gone to protect.
Yeah.
I reckon
Garrow for protection for me, I think.
Yeah.
I think Garrett took me down because he might get lost in the walk for a bit, so I'll be fine.
Yeah,
on a break.
Where the fuck are we this time?
What's going on?
Good stuff.
Well, in all seriousness, thank you very much, Peach.
No,
for
thank you for having
today,
us.
and
It's
give
been
our
brilliant.
loves to your jugs.
Yes,
You do
yes,
some
actually,
livings.
Yeah.
Some jokes. This is a nice warm up as well.
It
for
is,
jokes,
isn't it?
It's getting me into
Vocal
it's my
warm-up.
warm up act. We're
Yeah.
recording-
Yeah, you
You'll have
guys
to put in a
great.
good word for us. We'll have to get them both on eventually later in
that'd
the
be
year.
great.
We've got a few guests lined up.
Because we
into sort of-
weirdly started this pod when you guys did, but you guys
Literally the
did
same
Oh,
time.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, I think
Yeah.
we are on almost exactly the same week as you guys.
Yeah,
which is really
we've been
weird.
talking about doing it for a long time before we actually
Yeah.
physically did it. Because like I was like here and like Louise and Rob were like, should we do some stuff? I was like, yeah. And then like every week was like, should we do a thing? We're like, yeah. And we just never did it for
It's
ages.
awesome.
But
That's the
Yeah,
best
yeah.
relationships when you're like, do you want to do something? Yeah, let's do something. Yeah.
yeah.
I just
we've
love
still
the
got
dynamic
loads
you
of
guys
plans.
have. It's so funny. Like you all
They're-
just
they're-
so yourselves, and it's just
Yeah.
great. I love it.
It's nice seeing Louise be more Louise as well, because
Yeah.
when she does a video,
great.
she's and I'm trying to be the same, make it family friendly. Don't
Yeah.
chuck in, apart from the odd bastard for like the sharp,
Yeah.
battle
The odd
reports,
bastard.
which you can get away
The
with.
odd
Yeah.
bastard.
But yeah, like Louise being a true self, and just Rob just makes me laugh so much. He's so funny.
He's so
And
funny.
He's funny.
So
he's
cutting.
got he's got strong political opinions, but it's just so funny having him just like jumping in every now and again with him. I was just like, that's Rob.
I
That's
love how he
that
just
is
like
Big
shuts
Rob.
things down. Sometimes he'll just come in and just shit on someone. Or he
He's
said
got
the other
daddy
day.
energy. He's got the daddy energy of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
And then-
There's a comment he did the other day that just ended me when I was listening. He goes, "Oh yeah, he's very fuckable." And you guys lost it, and I was like, "That's amazing."
Also,
Yeah.
I do relate to both you and Reese for your cool dream energy, where you've got like
Oh, yeah.
superb
Maladaptive
dream energy. And I'm
daydreaming.
like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that's me!
Yeah.
Russ sends me like voice notes that his wife has recorded in the night of him like babbling
Amazing.
absolute dog shit, and it is the best stuff. And the other day he was like, "Oh, we're in Scotland, and she had big jugs," and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" It's amazing. Yeah,
Great.
it's great.
It's really good getting
So
to know those
yes,
guys.
please do. Obviously, if you guys haven't for some reason heard of the Jugs podcast, give them a
Oh,
follow,
it's the best.
subscribe.
Best.
Yeah,
Hobby
give it a listen
heroes.
because it's awesome. And obviously, Peachy tips.
Peachy's tip.
Yeah.
Peachy's tip.
Touch Peachy's tip for us. Just the tip.
And also there's Peachy's spray with old Siege as well. Like,
Oh yeah, the Colour Forge
Forge.
signature series.
Check out the
Peachy
Army
Peach.
Painter as well.
Peachy
you know,
Peach.
do your
I
boy
was
a
even
favour.
subtly drinking some Peachy Keen as well today.
Ooh,
All Peachy themed.
nice,
All
nice,
Peachy themed.
nice.
Yeah, and do give us a subscribe if you haven't already. And we join our Discord because we've got a little growing community in there, which is very wholesome at the minute, which we love.
We're everyone's cheapest therapist in town, so come and take a seat in the tank hot seat.
Yeah.
Next time I'll just download more. I reckon. Just we'll just sit and talk.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome back anytime, Peach. Hopefully, how have you found it being in the tank?
I've really enjoyed it.
Good.
I've enjoyed being in the tank. It's been pleasurable. I've been on a fair few podcasts, but this has been quite chilled and relaxed, and that's the kind of way I want it. A lot of people send me questions through and just go, "Oh, have a read. Make sure you're okay." I was like, I never read them because I like to just answer them on the fly.
I do that
because
Russ gets really annoyed with me.
I do get really annoyed.
It's two reasons. That one, I've got nothing to hide, and two. I find it quite good experience and practice for get my brain working a bit more.
Yeah.
Because if I'm prepared, I always feel like if you then
you're reading from a script, right? Almost.
Yeah, it feels like you are. Yeah, it's rehearsed, and I don't like rehearsing. I like, as you can probably tell from my videos.
It's
true.
British self-deprecation.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, I'm not that good a painter.
I'm so shit.
I mean, every time I have a script that's 4 pages long on Google Docs, and then I just go in front of the camera and go, I forgot it, or I'll just wing it again. Some of it's in there, but most of it's gone. It's good.
No, thank you for coming on. It has been
a
genuine pleasure.
Well, have a great time. I'm going to finish off some editing, then head off to Nottingham, where it is raining here as well. It sounds like it's raining in one of your places too.
Oh, it's mine. It's coming through my
Russ's roof.
It's here. It just sounds like it's in audio form. It's great.
Brilliant.
But thank you very much for having me on, guys.
Thanks again, and thanks for listening, everybody. We will see you next week.
Ciao.
Bye.